Hi, my name is Roman Kovalenko. I'm graduated student at Ulyanovsk State Technical University, and now I present my study use of mutual information as a similarity measure in stochastic binding images. The task of estimating the deformation parameters has remained relevant for more than a decade. At the same time, the number of applications requiring its solution is only growing. This is the processing of multispectral satellite and medical images, aeronautical navigation, autopilot, and much more. The methods for estimating geometric deformations of images implemented in both frequency and spatial domain are known. So in the spatial domain, they can be divided into groups. The first includes methods that use the identified local feature of images, bright and dark pixels, or their groups, contour, corners, crosshairs, and other. The second group includes methods that directly use image samples. One of the effective approach to determine an extrema is an adaptive identification-less stochastic estimation, an important step which largely determines the efficiency of the algorithm for estimating the parameters of interframe geometric deformation is the choice of the objective function. These measures are very diverse. The most widespread is the mean square of the interframe difference and the interframe correlation coefficient. Until recently, the use of mutual information was constrained by the requirement of high computational cost. In the paper, the effectiveness of the application of Shannon, Renier, and Tsallis mutual informations for image bidding tasks are investigated. The study is aimed to creating adaptive stochastic algorithm based on this measure of similarity and studying their efficiency on various types of images. These slides present expression for Shannon mutual information, Renier mutual information, and for Tsallis mutual information. An important step in determining the mutual information and its stochastic gradient by the estimated parameters is the estimation of the probability density function of the image brightness as well as the joint probability density function based on a local sample. For this purpose were used histograms. Another approach that was also used in this paper is the Parzen window method. On the basis of the considered information theoretic similarity measure, adaptive relay stochastic algorithm for estimating the parameters of interframe geometric deformations of images were implemented. The slide shows the expression for how the parameter estimation is formed for the next iteration. In this case, the stochastic gradient was calculated by the finite difference method. Experimental studies of implemented stochastic algorithms were carried out on various classes of real and simulated images. Let's consider an example of the result obtained in a situation when a satellite image of a part of the Ulyanovsk State Technical University campus was used as a reference image, and the deformed image was formed in accordance with an affine deformation model. The deformation parameters are presented on the slide. The dependencies formed by the algorithm when using the histogram method for calculating the probability density function of images are shown in figure 2. In this slide, the convergence of the Euclidean mismatch distance is shown, which fully characterizes the behavior of the estimates vector and its invariant to the deformation model used. The local sample size at each iteration of the estimation is 600. The results are averaged over 30 realizations. In figure 2, As in the following figure, curve 1 corresponds to the Shannon mutual information, curve 2 corresponds to the Renier mutual information, and the curve 3 corresponds to the Tsallis mutual information. It can be seen that the number of iterations before the steady-state convergence mode, the region of the true parameter value, in the region from 100 to 150. The best speed is provided by the Tsallis mutual information, the worst by the Shannon mutual information. Similar result for the second method for the approximation of the probability density function of image with the usage of Parzen windows are shown in figure 3. The experimental conditions were the same, except for the local sample size. The sample size was selected from the condition of ensuring approximately the same convergence rate of the deformation parameters estimates as to when using the histogram method. At the same time, it's decreased from 600 to 50. This is explained by the fact that when constructing a histogram, a significant part of the information about the probability density function of the image brightness is lost due to the assignment of the same brightness to all pixels within the same interval of the histogram. As in the previous case, the best speed was shown by the algorithm based on Tsallis mutual information. The algorithm was also tested under condition of additive and multiplicative noise. At the same time, to estimate the probability density function of image, the Parzen window method was used as it provides a high convergence rate with the same the local sample size. Normalized dependencies characterizing the behavior of the mutual information as a function of the Euclidean mismatch distance at a different level of additive Gaussian noise are shown in figure 4. At the same time, figure 4a corresponds to the use of Shannon mutual information, figure 4b corresponds to the Renier mutual information, and figure 4c to Tsallis mutual information. Curve 1 was obtained at a signal-to-noise ratio in terms of variance equal to 70.5, curve 2 equal to 7.8, and curve 3 equal to 4.5. It can be seen, for example, that the Tsallis mutual information at low noise has a large slope in comparison with others, which also provides a high convergence rate of estimates, and with large noises there will be a lower speed. An example of the convergence of the rotation angle estimate and the integral characteristic Euclidean mismatch distance under condition of additive noise at a signal-to-noise ratio of 70.5 is shown in figure 5. In this case, the number of iterations before the estimates entered the stabilization mode increased approximately twice in comparison with the situation without noise. The developed algorithms were also investigated under the condition of multiplicative noise and nonlinear distortion of image brightness. For example, figure 6 shows the dependencies of the investigated mutual information types on the Euclidean mismatch distance. The curve labels correspond to the experimental for additive noise. Thus, curve 1 was obtained at a signal-to-noise ratio equal to 70.4, curve 2 70.7, and curve 3 corresponds to 4.4. With an increase in the noise, the slope of the curve for Tsallis mutual information decreases less than for other mutual informations. They indicates potentially rather resistance to noise of algorithm based on these mutual informations. This is confirmed by the figure 7. It shows the convergence of the rotation angle estimate as well as the Euclidean mismatch distance under multiplicative noise condition at a signal-to-noise ratio equal to 70.4. It can be seen from the figure that the base convergence, about 170 iteration, was again shown by algorithm based on Tsallis mutual information. The convergence of parameter estimates generated by the algorithm based on the Renier and Shannon mutual information is about 240 iteration. The studies carried out have shown the high efficiency of using the mutual information of Shannon, Renier, and Thalys as objective function in the adaptive stochastic estimation of image geometric deformation parameters. When finding an estimate of the probability density function of the image brightness required for the calculation of the motion information, the usage of the Parzen window method showed significantly better result in comparison with the histogram method. At the same time, convergence rate of the parameter vector estimates, the histogram method requires several times the larger of the local sample size. Experimental studies of stochastic algorithm implemented based on the investigated motion information have shown that the best convergence rate of the estimates is provided by Thalys motion information, including in condition of multiplicative and other nonlinear noises. Thank you for your attention.